Emily Harper never expected her perfect wedding week to start with a moment that took her breath away, but not in the romantic way she imagined. On Friday morning, just 3 days before she was supposed to walk down the aisle in a quiet coastal town in Maine, she opened the hotel door and saw a face she hadn't seen in years. A face that brought back a wave of memories she had worked hard to bury. It was Evan Reed, the man she once thought she would end up with, the man who had ruined her sleep for months during her college years in Seattle. The man who left without saying the words she always hoped to hear. He stood there holding a cup of coffee like he had every right to appear in her life again. "Hey, Em," he said, using the nickname only he ever used. Like no time had passed. Emily froze. The hallway felt suddenly too small. "You're early," she said softly, trying to keep her voice steady. "The wedding is on Sunday." "I know," Evan replied, his smile fading as he looked into her eyes. "That's why I needed to see you now." Before Emily could respond, a call buzzed on her phone. It was Daniel, her fiancé, her future, the man who had never once left her confused or hurting, the man she was supposed to meet downstairs for the final rehearsal details. She stepped back. "I have to go," she told Evan. "We can talk later." "Please," he said quietly, "don't avoid me this weekend." She didn't answer. She couldn't. Emily walked straight to the elevator, heart pounding. She wasn't angry, just shaken. She didn't want to feel anything, not even nostalgia. Not when she was about to start a new life with Daniel Baker, the most stable, gentle, good-hearted man she had ever known. But the universe wasn't done surprising her. When she stepped into the hotel lobby, another familiar voice called her name. Emily. She turned, and her stomach dropped for the second time that day. Standing near the fireplace was Mark Lawson, her childhood neighbor from Boston, the boy who used to help her carry groceries for her mother, the boy who grew into a man she always felt safe around, the boy she once thought might confess something, anything, but never did. Mark smiled warmly. Oh, his eyes carried something deeper. "I heard you're getting married this weekend. I'm in town for a conference. I hoped I might get the chance to congratulate you in person." Emily blinked, overwhelmed. "Mark, I didn't think I'd ever see you again." He chuckled softly. "I didn't think I'd ever have the courage." Before she could ask what he meant, she saw Daniel walking toward her, calm, steady, unaware of the emotional storm she had walked into. "Hey, sweetheart," he said, giving her a gentle kiss on the cheek. Her heart twisted. Daniel's touch always grounded her. Yet she felt as if the ground beneath her had tilted. He smiled politely at Mark. "Friend from home?" Emily nodded quickly. "Yes, we grew up on the same street." Mark extended a hand, friendly but observant. "You're Daniel. Congratulations, man." Daniel shook it, unaware of the unspoken history in the air. "Thanks, we're excited." Emily swallowed. She wished the moment felt simple. She wished her pulse would slow down by the time they left the hotel. She already felt drained, and it wasn't even noon yet. The rehearsal day went smoothly. Daniel was his usual calm self. He talked with the florist, checked the guest list, made sure the dinner later would go perfectly. He didn't notice Emily falling quiet. Or maybe he did notice, but he trusted her enough not to pry. That was one of the reasons she loved him. But by late afternoon, Emily's mind kept drifting back to Evan's voice and Mark's unexpected arrival. She didn't want it to, but feelings had a strange way of reopening themselves at the worst possible times. Finally, during a break in the planning, she stepped outside the venue to breathe. The ocean breeze was supposed to calm her. Instead, it brought more memories. Evan's laughter during late-night study sessions. Mark walking her home after junior prom. Daniel waiting patiently the night she told him she needed time to trust again. Everything collided inside her like waves against rocks. Then her phone buzzed. A text from Evan. "Can we talk?" "Just for a few minutes." Another from Mark, minutes later. "Can we meet? There's something important I want to tell you." And Emily knew she couldn't avoid any of it. Not forever by the time the sun set. She finally met Evan outside a quiet coffee shop near the waterfront. He looked older, more serious than the last time she saw him. "You look nervous," he said softly. "Because I shouldn't be here," she replied. "I just need to say something," Evan told her, brushing a hand through his hair the way he always used to when searching for courage. "Back then, I messed up. I thought we had more time. I thought you'd always be in my life. I thought you felt the same way." Emily looked down. "I did feel something. But you never said anything?" "I was scared," he admitted. "I didn't know how to hold on to something good without ruining it. And when I finally realized what you meant to me, you were already with him." Emily felt a sting of old pain, soft, but still present. "Evan, I can't rewrite the past." "I don't want that," he said. "I just needed you to know before you marry him. I needed to tell you that losing you wasn't something I ever got over." Her heart twisted. She had wanted those words years ago. "Not now. I'm getting married," she whispered. "I know," he replied with a small, sad smile. "And maybe I ruined my chance. But I needed you to hear the truth." She nodded, unable to look at him for another second without feeling emotionally pulled backward in time. She left quietly, grateful the conversation ended without more complications. But the night wasn't done with her. When she returned to the hotel, Mark was waiting in the lobby, hands in his pockets. Looking torn. "You said you wanted to talk," she asked gently. Mark hesitated, then nodded. "Can we sit?" They sat near the window overlooking the street. The glow from the lamps outside made everything look calm, though nothing felt calm inside her. "Emily," he said, voice steady but low, "I've always cared about you. You know that. But I never told you how much." Her chest tightened again. She didn't expect this from him, never from him. "I thought you just saw me as the boy next door," she whispered. "I did everything to hide the truth," Mark admitted with a soft laugh. "You are the girl I liked since middle school. The one I hoped I'd marry someday, even if I'd never said it out loud." Emily felt tears prick. Her eyes. "Mark, why now?" "Because I heard you're getting married." His voice cracked lightly, and something in me panicked. "I didn't want to live the rest of my life wondering if you ever felt something too. Even if your answer is no, I had to tell you at least once." Emily looked at him, her old friend, her quiet comfort. He looked genuinely heartbroken. "I'm sorry," she said softly. "I never knew." He nodded. "I'm not here to break anything. I just wanted to be honest before it's too late." Emily stood there for a long moment, feeling pulled in three directions: past, present, and a version of the future she never considered. "Thank you for telling me," she said sincerely. "But I'm marrying Daniel." "I know," Mark replied, forcing a smile. "He's a good man. I can see why you love him." And with that, he let her go, not dramatically, not painfully, just quietly. Late that night, Emily returned to her hotel room, exhausted. She sat on the edge of the bed and stared at her reflection in the mirror. Two unexpected confessions. To men who once mattered. And a wedding just days away. She wasn't confused about her love for Daniel. She was confused about why these old emotions decided to surface now. She lay back against the pillows, listening to the distant sound of waves outside her window. Tomorrow would be harder. Tomorrow would force her to face everything she tried to outrun. And she sensed deep in her chest that the weekend had only just begun. Emily Harper woke up Saturday morning with her heart racing. The hotel room felt too quiet, the light streaming through the curtains too bright, as if the world itself demanded she make sense of the storm inside her. She had slept little, haunted by the faces and voices that had reappeared in her life the day before. Evan and Mark weren't just memories anymore. They were here. Real, speaking truths she hadn't expected to hear. Truths that now collided with her love for Daniel. She dressed quickly, trying to convince herself it would be just another day. But she knew deep down that this weekend wasn't going to be ordinary. It had already begun to change her. Her phone buzzed with a message from Evan. "Are you free to walk by the waterfront?" And another from Mark. I can meet you before lunch. It's important. Emily sighed. She could avoid them, pretend the past didn't exist. But she knew she wouldn't. Avoiding the truth had never worked for her. The waterfront was quiet that morning, the sea stretching endlessly into the horizon. Emily arrived first, leaning against the railing, her thoughts a tangle of fear, longing, and confusion. Evan appeared a few minutes later, jogging lightly, hair tousled by the breeze. "Good morning," he said, a soft smile on his face. "You look tired, not as tired as I feel inside," Emily admitted. She avoided his gaze, staring at the waves instead. "Why now, Evan? Why this weekend?" "Because I can't let you walk into a new life without knowing," he said gently. "I never told you what you meant to me. Not fully, and I need you to hear it now." Emily's chest tightened. She had imagined this conversation 1,000 times in her mind over the years. But never like this, so close, so real. "You loved me," she said quietly. "And I cared. But it's too late now." "Maybe it's too late," Evan admitted. "But I need to be honest with you. I've thought about you every single year. Every time I wanted to move on, I realized I couldn't. Not fully. And I just needed you to know." Emily swallowed hard. His words carried a mixture of hope and heartbreak. She wanted to tell him that she understood, that she felt some of the same pull. But she also needed to protect the life she was choosing with Daniel. "I hear you, Evan," she said. "And I'm grateful you told me. But I can't let this change what's coming. I love Daniel. I've always known my heart is with him." He nodded slowly, sadness in his eyes, but no bitterness. "Then go to him," he said softly. "He deserves all of you. Just remember, the past sometimes leaves its mark, even when the future is waiting." Before she could answer, Mark appeared on the path, hands in his pockets, eyes searching for her. He didn't approach aggressively or demand attention, just stood there quietly. Letting her come to him, Emily took a deep breath. "Mark." He smiled faintly, a mix of relief and anxiety. "Hey, you okay?" I don't know," she admitted. "Yesterday was a lot. Seeing you, seeing Evan, it stirred up old feelings I didn't expect." "I understand," Mark said softly. "I'm not here to complicate things. I just wanted you to know the truth. That I've always cared about you. That I loved you." Emily's heart ached. 2 confessions in less than 24 hours. To men who had once mattered, whose feelings had been buried by time and distance, now standing in her life. Asking for recognition. "I appreciate your honesty, Mark," she said gently. "But my life, my heart, is with Daniel. I'm choosing him." He nodded, forcing a small, sad smile. "I figured, and I respect that. I just couldn't let this weekend pass without being honest with you, without letting you know how I feel." Emily felt a mixture of relief and sorrow. She had closure, but it wasn't easy. 2 hearts that had been part of her life now released her with nothing but truth and respect. She realized this was more than conversations. It was a lesson about love, timing, and courage. By late morning, Emily found herself alone on a bench, watching the water. She thought about Daniel, about how calm, steady, and patient he had always been. Her heart shifted as she realized that what she felt for Evan was nostalgia, a spark that reminded her of youth, and what she felt for Mark was longing for a path never taken. But Daniel represented life itself. The life she wanted, the life she needed. Her phone buzzed again. It was Daniel. "I'm downstairs." "Can I see you?" Her chest tightened. This was the moment. The decision she had been preparing for, consciously or not. She walked to the lobby, her steps measured but her heart racing. Daniel was there, holding 2 cups of coffee, a small smile on his face. "Good morning," he said softly. "You look like you haven't slept." Emily smiled faintly, trying to hide the turmoil from her expression. "I didn't sleep well," she admitted. "It's been a lot." Daniel didn't question her. He simply took her hand gently. "Do you want to talk?" I need to," she said. She took a deep breath and began to explain not the confessions themselves, but her feelings, the surge of emotions, the memories that had come alive. She didn't dwell on the details of Evan or Mark. She simply shared that the weekend had stirred her in ways she hadn't anticipated. Daniel listened, not with judgment, not with anger, just with patience and understanding. And in that moment, Emily realized why she loved him so deeply. He didn't just hear her words, he understood her heart. When she finished, Daniel pulled her into a gentle hug. "I'm here," he whispered. "Whatever comes, we face it together." Emily felt tears welling in her eyes. This was what she had been searching for, a love that felt steady, true, and unshakable. She had flirted with memories and old sparks, but Daniel offered something real, something lasting. That afternoon, she met Evan and Mark one last time. Both men approached calmly, aware that this would likely be their final interaction before her wedding. "I'm marrying him," she said softly, looking at both of them. "I want you to know." "I'm happy," Evan nodded. "I understand. I'm glad you found someone who makes you feel safe and loved." Mark gave her a gentle smile. "You deserve happiness, Emily. I hope he gives you everything you've always wanted." Emily thanked them. There was no lingering tension, no drama, just honest closure. She realized some feelings don't last, and some are meant to teach us about the choices we make. She was grateful for both men. They had shown her the edges of her heart. But now it was time to move forward. The evening came quickly. Emily returned to her room to prepare for the rehearsal dinner. She dressed carefully, choosing a soft blue gown that made her feel both elegant and comfortable. She caught her reflection in the mirror and smiled faintly. This weekend had been emotional, dramatic, and challenging. But it had also reminded her of something important. Love is a choice, and she was choosing wisely at the dinner. Daniel held her hand across the table, squeezing it gently. She looked at him and felt a warmth she hadn't felt all weekend. This was more than relief, was joy, understanding, and connection all at once. She knew that no matter how the past tugged at her heart, her present and future were safe in his care. That night, lying in bed, Emily thought about Evan and Mark one last time. She felt gratitude for the past and hope for the future. The weekend had been a test, a whirlwind of emotion, and a reminder that life is complicated, messy, and beautiful all at once. And when she drifted to sleep, Emily Harper felt at peace. She had faced the ghosts of her past, acknowledged the truths of her heart, and chosen a love that was real, patient, and enduring. Sunday would come, and with it, vows, laughter, and the promise of forever. But for now, the storm had passed. She was ready to embrace the life she had chosen with Daniel, her steady, loving anchor by her side. Because sometimes the heart has a memory, but the soul knows where it belongs.